And the caliber of player Virat Kohli is, he can do so much better. Like, he is, if not one of the best players India's ever produced, both in test matches. 3-1, ladies and gentlemen, 3-1. India lose the series to Australia in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, 3-1. Australia regain it after 10 years. A lot of positives for Australia and a lot of negatives for India. What went wrong? How did they end up in this position? What is going to happen moving forward for India? Let's discuss all of these things today. Starting with day 1 of the 5th test match. Something big happened on the eve of the 5th test match, the Sydney Pink test match. Robert Sharma decided to step down from the team and from the Indian captaincy, as he best described in his own words that he wasn't feeling the right culture was being applied into the team. So he decided to stand down and not play this test match. So Jasprit Bumrah stepped up. That was somewhat relieving for Indian fans, as he captained the first test that was played in the series, where India had defeated Australia by a fair margin. So it was looking good. It was looking great going into the 5th test match. But as soon as day 1 arrived, it went all downhill for India. They won the toss, chose to bat on what seemed to be a bowling paradise wicket. Green top, overcast conditions, and the fact that there was so much carry all throughout day 3. Mind you, this test match only lasted 3 days, 2.5 days. Australia won the test match on the 3rd day, halfway through 3rd day. So what went wrong? They won the toss, they chose to bat. Like suspected, they were all out for 185 towards the end of day 1. Pick of the batters only was Rishabh Pant, who got 40. Everyone else got starts, but again, they kept falling, playing obnoxious shots. We talk about Virat Kohli, his first innings of the 5th test match and his second innings of this test match. Both, he was out and poking at the ball outside off stump, nicking to slips. He's played 8 innings in Australia and has been dismissed, getting nicked off every single time. Every single time that is played in this series, outside off, 4th stump, 5th stump, goes to chase it and gets nicked off. So that's something that India needs to have a look going forward, because you can't be making the same mistakes over and over again. And the caliber of player Virat Kohli is, he can do so much better. Like, he is, if not one of the best players India's ever produced, both in test matches, ODIs, T20s, so all format player, and the fact that he's getting out the same way 8 times is borderline unacceptable. So something else reminds me, if you cricket fans would remember Sachin Tendulkar back in 2004, the 2003-2004 Border Gavaskar Trophy series. Tendulkar kept getting out, nicking off outside off. So he decided for the Sydney Test match, 2004 Sydney Test match, he wasn't going to play a single cover drive. And he ended up, at the end of first innings for India, he got 241 not out without playing a single cover drive. That's the sort of a player Virat Kohli is. And I've always considered him equally as good as Sachin Tendulkar. So the fact that he didn't consult with him, he didn't speak to him, or he may have, we don't know, but the fact that he kept getting out the same way wasn't right. But at the end of day 1, India were 185. They were all out for 185. Australia came out for a couple of overs, but that's where the drama struck. It was, I think, the last over of day 1. Usman Khawaja kept backing out from his stance because he felt like Jasprit Bumrah was rushing him. And then from non-striker zone, Sam Constance sort of tried to rile up Bumrah and started having a go at him. In my opinion, I feel like he did the right thing. India do seem to be rattled by the way that Constance is playing the game. So the fact that he went off at Jasprit Bumrah was courageous. So that's very, very, very commendable from him. But the only downfall from that was Usman Khawaja lost his wicket. So it was a mix of both things. Yes, India couldn't get an extra over in, but at the expense of that, they lost Usman Khawaja. So day 1 ended up in that fashion. Day 2, Australia couldn't do much either. They were only restricted to 181. They gave India a lead of 4 runs. Again, this then proves my point that had India won the toss and chose to bowl first, they could have done wonders for the first innings of Australia, because the wicket was feisty, the wicket was juicy for fast bowlers, it was green, there was a lot of carry in the wicket. So had they bowled first, they would have restricted Australia under 80, under 90, even under 50. So that's what I think. India made a mistake there. But then if you talk about the second innings of India, that literally made no sense to me. I didn't understand what the point was, that India were coming out trying to slog and trying to take the game on. It's only day 2 of the test match and they're trying to play like it's day 4, day 5. A lot of players got out playing rash shots. Shubman Gill came down the wicket trying to charge Bo Webster, gifting him his first test wicket. Bo Webster had an amazing test match, but more on that later. But yeah, India second innings, very, very loose cricket from them. It seemed like they had no plans how they'd tackle the second innings of this test match. They were restricted for 157, giving Australia a target of 162. To add to India's misery, Jasprit Bumrah had developed some sort of back spasms, so he wasn't cleared to bowl all throughout day 2, and then leading into day 3, he didn't bowl for Australia's run chase. So I feel like a lot went wrong for India. Australia chased the runs down, 4 down. They won by 6 wickets, and they took the series out 3-1. If we talk about overall what happened with India, yes, they won the first test match. They won it convincingly. Second test match, Australia won. It was a pink ball test match. Third test match ended up in a draw. Had it not rained, India were looking terrible, and they would have succumbed to the pressure, and Australia would have had another victory. So, 4th test, Australia win convincingly. 5th test, Australia won convincingly. If we talk about what has been the problem with India all throughout the series, is top order hasn't been able to score runs. Except Jaiswal, even Rahul, first couple of tests he looked really solid, but the last 2 test matches at the MCG and here, he seemed to struggle. I don't know what it was, but I feel like he had been done a little dirty. He was batting well at the top of the order, he was batting well when he was opening, then he got shifted down to 3, and then he went back to opening, so a sudden change in the batting order did low-key, I think, change the way he was going about his innings, so that wasn't ideal. Virat, like I said, didn't perform very well. Rishabh Pant showed glimpses of excellence, but again, he kept throwing away his wicket, and his intent wasn't there to play the long innings, to play and stick around for his team. Nitish Kumar Reddy, he came out obviously with a good 100 at the MCG, but other than that, he couldn't do much either. India have found a good all-rounder in Nitish Kumar Reddy. I feel like he just has to be more consistent going into future test matches. Do let me know what you guys think should happen with the Indian cricket. We talk about Australia, they're just clean with everything what they do. Bo Webster had an amazing test match. Constance showed great courage. So overall, Australia has been great, and they highly deserve the victory. If you guys got something out of this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Please let me know what should happen moving forward, both for India and Australia. Without further ado, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.